A very good evening to all of you. Shubho Shondha Prottekke. Before we get into the main part of the program, I would like to introduce a lady without whom this wouldn't have been possible. The very, very gorgeous and gracious Shonali Sarkar. Shonali, if you could kindly come and take the third seat in the set. Shonali, please come. Shonali has the background of FTI Pune and she has been a very, very trained cinematographer. She has also, but you will see her name in the credits of quite a few Bengali films, and apart from that, she has been a great cheerleader for people like me, Tathagata, and other people. You know, like this cafe is famous for its filmy connection. A lot of people come here with, you know, they talk about films, they, you know, plan films here, and we have had the greats like Nasiruddin Shah, Nandita Das, Ranjan Palit. They have filmed Ashok Vishwanathan. They have all filmed their sequences in this cafe. So let us put our hands together for Shonali Sarkar. Very beautifully she smiles and always says, Abhishek da koro, I'm there. So that's the spirit which hooks us on and brings us repeatedly onto Wisdom Tree. Thank you so much, Sonali, for graciously hosting today's evening. Now the man of the moment is sitting on my left side. He is one director in our film industry, the Bengali film industry, who's a thorough gentleman, which is a rarity, I must tell you. মানে আমাদের এটা খুব একটা বিরল প্রজাতির ব্যাপার বাংলা ছবির জগতে. He keeps his words, he keeps his time, he keeps to the timeline. He always saves the producer, which is very, very important. মানে এই একজন ডিরেক্টর, আমি অনেক ডিরেক্টরের সঙ্গে কাজ করেছি as an actor or in other capacities. But this is one director who thinks of the producer first and then his, own self, which is fantastic. He is known as Tathagata to many, Tathagata to friends like us. He is a thorough gentleman. So, like if you have to describe Tatha apart from being a creative warrior, he's very, very gentlemanly. Okay, so this first part of the entire evening is dedicated to Tathagata's fight or Tathagata's journey in life. The second part, we would be open for the house. We would like people to come and occupy the third seat. We don't want questions from the house from there. We would like you to be in the arc lights because this entire episode is being filmed and it will be on YouTube for archive's sake, for students to see, to hear out Tathagata's fight, the struggle, the journey. So, Tathagata, the first question, thank you so much for being in this very, very aptly named Beyond the Beaten Track. He has been, he could have gone in for a corporate job. He's very highly educated. He could have been maybe an IS officer, but Tathagata chose a different beaten track. He didn't really get into the regular, line, the regular path. He has built up a path of his own, and his journey has been, I'm sure, full of a lot of ups and downs. So Tathagata, you complete 30 long years, very meaningful years in your filmy career, in your film, the journey as a film director. So tell us from the beginning till Akorik, what has been the realization?
First of all, thank you, Abhishek, for your kind words. Secondly, I would like to thank Shonali, my dear friend, Wisdom Cafe, Wisdom Tree Cafe, for organizing this. And thank you all, the audience who are here, because this is something which we wanted to do for a long time. It's not about me, it's about people like me. Those who want to follow the beaten track or offbeat track, whatever you call. 30 years, it seems a long time, but to me, it seems like only yesterday. Yes, I could have followed something more easy, you can say. But I chose this field because I don't know why I chose this field. Maybe I had it in me, or I don't know. Now, if I look back, a lot of things can come, So no point discussing that. Rather, I would like to say that, yes, I started since 1994, and I started very young. And in these last 30 years, I have done only films, films alone. Events also which related to films. So the journey has been like for any filmmaker, ups and downs, struggles, successes, failures, very challenging. But what I would like to cherish is that filmmaking has always been my passion. That I could make this my profession is something I cherish the most. And I am proud of just one fact. I don't know whether I have made good films or bad films or different films or indifferent films. I am proud of only one fact. Whatever I have done in films, may it be feature films, as you must be knowing, I do a lot of corporate films, ad films, short films. I am not limited to feature films only. I've done all kind of films for the last 30 years. I am just proud of just one thing. Whatever I have done with absolute honesty. That's the one thing I'm proud of.
Absolutely, Tathagata. As I said in the beginning of or introducing Tathagata, honesty, compassion, genuinity, all these are his big attributes, and he's famous for all this. In fact, whenever we discuss about Tathagata, these are the things which always come in a discussion. When we always refer to these adjectives or these attributes when it comes to Tathagata Bhattacharya. I remember I got to know him, I think it was 98, 99, just before we had associated ourselves to do the first film Tathagata directed on Tathagata. That was also Victor starrer. And after that we have been great friends. We have done lots of corporate films, industrial films, portfolios, events, feature films, all together. It has been like a family, and I have learnt a lot from a friend like him. The main part is again honesty, keeping at it, and making the passion really felt through the professional excellence. Tathagata, tell me that you are now a name in the mainstream industry, but your latest film Akorik is very much beyond the beaten track. It is an offbeat film, and it has a different kind of a storyline, which is not the regular commercial masaladar films we see. I'm sure many of the audience here, they have watched Akorik and they will have their feedbacks too. So how did you take up such an offbeat subject, and wasn't it a risk? How did it happen?
Yes, absolutely. Whatever films I've done before are purely mainstream films, commercial films, and you have been a part of all those films. But even in those films, I had the creative sensibilities right. It was not just a run-of-the-mill film, but yes, proper mainstream cinema in Bengali cinema with dances and songs and action and romance. The typical masala flavors were there, but of course packaged with a different sensibility. Now Akorik is completely out of the box for me, because I never kind of ventured into something offbeat in feature films. I felt that I should say a story which I thought needs to be said. The concept of Akorik being that of the disintegration of the joint family structure into nuclear family structure, further into single parenting. So whether in this process we have become more independent, have we progressed, or have we drifted away from our roots? So I have taken a very neutral take in Akorik. I have not taken any sides. I tried to communicate the fact that this is what has happened. So whether it is for the good, or are we threatened? So this is a concept which I tried to communicate, and I wanted to communicate. So these concepts, these kinds of concepts have to be, kind of an offbeat. If you want to make a film, you can't package the film typically the so-called masala films. You have, because you're kind of addressing a serious issue. You're trying to deliver something which is very sensitive. So the film needs to be offbeat. So I tried. It was just a challenge for me. And thanks to my entire team, my cast, my technical crew, and most important, my producer. Because filmmakers are here and producers also here. Producer is very important. producer backs a project, and when it is an offbeat film, it becomes more challenging for the director to convince a producer to do, because here money is not the motivation, creative excellence is the motivation. So I thank my producer of Akurik, Iceberg Creations LLP, my co-producer Deepak Parikh. They were very crucial for me. So they somehow kind of got convinced. I'm so happy that they got convinced. They wanted to say this story as well. And I could, get a good cast, good crew, and we made the film. So yes, it's something that I took it as a challenge. I'm so happy it got selected in Kolkata International Film Festival. Last year it also went to NFDC Film Bazaar, Goa. We are sending it to other film festivals as well. Nandan, the film is running 4th week now. We have completed 25 days. So people have responded, good or bad, whatever, but people have responded. We are getting good reviews. We are getting good ratings. So I feel this film will have a long shelf life. But yes, it definitely has been a challenge for me, and definitely quite risky.
So here's a man who's also not, really doesn't shake to take the risks at the right moment. And obviously it has been beyond the beaten track. Tell me one thing, Tathagata, Victor is a very cerebral actor, and he has worked with all the very top-notch international directors too. Rituparna comparatively, Rituparna also is a national award winning film actress, but comparatively she's more from the commercial mold. When you narrated Akurik's essence of the story to her, or the script to her, what was her first reaction?
Well, she was very excited. I never worked with her before, though I knew her for a long time. Victor Banerjee, of course, you know that we have been apart. My first film, Antarghat, which released in 2001, starred Victor Banerjee in the lead. So with Victor Banerjee, I share a tremendous relationship. So convincing him was not very difficult. He said yes at one go. Yes, Rituparna Sengupta definitely is a mainstream artist, but at the same time, she has done many offbeat films also, with Aparna Sher, with Rituparna Ghosh, with other award-winning directors. She herself is a national award winner. I tried to kind of communicate to her that I want to do a film with absolute honesty. I want to do a film which is offbeat. I want to do a film which I feel is a crisis to the Bengali community all over the world. That this disintegration, this moving away, I feel it's a crisis. So I want to address. So I need interpreters. So if you become one of the interpreters, I'll be very happy. She said yes, I'm going to do it. So it happened that way. Rest of the cast also, So yes, it happened. It's happened. I'm so lucky it happened.
Those who have seen Akurik will see that the beautiful locales of the outdoors also has a character, or it adds to the storyline. And tell me, Tathagata has also been, those who know one part of Tathagata as the commercial or the mainstream director does not know, or maybe knowing that he has been a great support to independent filmmaking also. There are a few independent filmmakers here. I am one, and Tathagata and I, and we have a big team in Jamshedpur. There's a friend from Jamshedpur, Himadri here. So in Jamshedpur and also in Kolkata, many short film festivals, many independent film making platforms Tathagata has led. So what is your take on independent filmmaking, and what is your message to independent filmmakers? Maybe if they are interested to come to mainstream, is it the right time with, beyond the beaten track ideas, offbeat ideas? What will be your take on that?
First, let's come to the mainstream cinema, Bengali feature films. I feel as a director, this is the time to tell stories which are different, and tell stories differently. Offbeat films, according to me, has tremendous prospects because the audience wants to watch offbeat cinema. See, for the last 2-3 years, whatever mainstream Bengali films have clicked, rarely it has been a purely mainstream cinema. If you take the case of Aparajito or Bela Shuru or Tonic, Ballabpur, recently Projapati, they are not typical mainstream films. They are offbeat cinema. Okay, even the stars also, they also have portrayed themselves differently. So I feel that offbeat cinema is definitely very prospective today. But you need a producer to back it. You need to know how to market the film. There's a lot of other challenges. But yes, it's definitely, I feel it has prospects. That does not mean that mainstream commercial cinema has no prospect. That will stay forever. That will stay forever. But offbeat cinema now has potential in Bengali cinema. Since we are talking Bengali cinema, so independent filmmaking, that's very important, because if you have to propagate offbeat films, firstly you have to think independently. You have to work independently. So, and at the same time, you must know that if I have to tell a story and I don't have a producer or a financer to back my story, I have to do it independently. So whether it's through a short film or a kind of short feature film or a full-length feature film, that is besides the point. But you have to think independently. So even if you get a producer for an offbeat film, it is independent filmmaking, because you have to communicate to the producer anyway that money is not the motivation. But that does not mean that if you make an offbeat film, the producer will lose money. No, that's never the point. But you have to think independently, because now with the OTT platforms, there's nothing called short film or mini short film or long film. Is a film. The duration is important. Even a 10-minute film is a film, because the person who watches that, he or she watches that film. Previously, short films was some kind of treated as a second-class citizen. But now, film is a film. So whether it's a 2-hour film, whether it's a 15-minute film, it depends on the audience. If an audience wants to watch in Amazon a 10-minute film, he has 10 minutes time. So he has to watch. He won't watch like, okay, let me watch a short film or let me watch a feature film. No, film is film today. So every filmmaker should understand that we are filmmakers. So independent filmmaking is an absolute need to kind of create the demand for offbeat subjects and offbeat cinema.
We should really applaud for this, particular remark. Film is a film. Especially, like as I was telling you all, that I have worked with many other directors too, but the ones who are in the mainstream, they have a kind of a step-brotherly or a stepfatherly attitude towards independent filmmakers. Choto film manas. But see, he has been in the mainstream. He's already 4, films, big films, old. But still, Tathagata's love for short films, independent expressions through independent filmmaking is to be really saluted. And we really thank you, Tatha, for being so, what should I say, so supportive about independent filmmaking. As he has said, even in big films, you have to have independence of ideas, independence of expressions. Without independence, you can nearly not narrate the story. So even a very offbeat subject requires a lot of independence of mind to communicate that to the target audience. Tell me, Tathagata, now in the mainstream film directors fraternity, one issue is kind of making many directors having, raise their eyebrows or having a lot of worry factor is the release. The release and the stay in a particular theatre. What's your take on that? Is it a really worry factor now?
It's a big worry, definitely, for all directors. Especially in Bengal. Why especially in Bengal? Because for a long time, Hindi cinema has been very influential in Bengal. Not so much in the South India, where in Tamil Nadu the priority is Tamil cinema. In Andhra Pradesh, the priority is Telugu cinema. Similarly, Malayalam cinema, Kannada cinema, So that's very important. In Maharashtra, Marathi cinema is tremendously in priority. In Punjab, Punjabi cinema. So, but here in Bengal, Hindi cinema has been tremendously influential. I'm not talking about the South Indian cinema, because South Indian cinema is of late that they have been dubbed in Hindi, and maybe after Bahubali some films have. So that's now an addition to the threat. But the initial threat never was South Indian cinema. The threat was always Hindi cinema. Now this threat became bigger and bigger due to the fact that very many single screen theaters got shut down, closed. Those theaters only used to run Bengali films, I'm talking about the 80s and the 90s. And those Bengali films were super hits, silver jubilees, golden jubilees. They never used to run Hindi films. Now those cinema halls got shut down because they could not fight this multiplex culture, the multiplex era, what we call, that flowed in. Now, with the multiplexes on, they definitely prefer Hindi cinema because they have more footfalls, they have tremendous establishment costs. So, since the viewers for Hindi cinema is more, multiplex would definitely prefer Hindi films. But now the threat is maximum because even the existing single theaters, they also are running Hindi films if a big Hindi film is coming, and they are not giving importance to Bengali films. So we actually do not have any dedicated theater or a cinema hall to run Bengali films only. Suppose a Hindi film comes, they take all the 4 shows or 3 shows, and we are left with nothing. And even if we kind of beg or do something, we are given a wrong show or a wrong timing. So we don't have Bengali cinema today, really doesn't have dedicated halls only for Bengali films. And I cannot also blame the exhibitors because they also have to run theaters. This COVID era has kind of messed up everything. They suffered huge losses, so they can't say no to a Hindi film because that gives them more revenue. So it's kind of a situation where we have to fight. We have to make better films. We have to really kind of raise our bar so that somehow we can make the audience understand that we also make good films. Because see, if the audience comes to see a Bengali film, then we will survive. If the audience says no, we won't pay to watch a Bengali film, we'll watch it on television or OTT, but we will pay for a Hindi film, or now we will pay for a South Indian dubbed film. So unless we make the audience realize that if you don't pay to watch a Bengali film, you won't be able to watch a Bengali film in OTT or television as well, because we won't be able to make Bengali films. So this has to be a realization, and it has to be a collective effort from the producers' end, from the directors' end, from the distributors' end, from the exhibitors' end, from the audience's end. But we are definitely at a threat. But that does not stop us from making films. That will never bog us down. We as directors will continue to make films. We have to kind of fight it out, and the battle is fully on.
Absolutely, we have to fight it out. In fact, Akurik has made 4 weeks in Nandon, and Nandon is a prized location for any Bengali film now. Very, very big directors are also deprived of Nandon. So Tathagata's film has been there for its, will be celebrating its 25 days, already celebrated. That's fantastic. So I'm sure this kind of, tenure would go on, and Akurik, whenever, I have been to be there in the Akurik scene or in the screening of Akurik, people were coming out with a lot of, many cameras were there. So they shared their heart out to the cameras also. And they came out with a lot of, sentiments, lot of feelings. And they said, after a long time, a film has been made which has really made us, feel deep within. Anyway, we have that portion on the latter part of this. So I would come to the last question to Tathagata, but let me tell you to the entire audience, as we had wanted this to be very, very interactive, not only me and him, this seat is there. So after this, please have your questions ready for the director. Please have your feedbacks ready about Akurik or any other questions about independent filmmaking. I'm sure Tathagata would be trying to answer you all. So Tathagata, the last question which I have for you is, 30 years has been a very, very, as you said, I'll fight it out. It has been a fight, I'm sure. Some very pleasant memories, some very challenging contours which you have gone through in the journey. After Akurik, obviously you have critically arrived. Okay, so now tell me, after Akurik, what does Tathagata Bhattacharya have in store for us, or what are your plans, or you wouldn't like to share that with us? Anything specific?
See, I am just another filmmaker. It's not that, I am a big celebrity or something. I am a worker. So, and every director is a technician first, the celebrity labels or all these don't matter. So because if I have to convince someone to pay to watch my films, so you have to be good at your craft. So otherwise people won't pay to watch your stuff. And anything which comes free of cost is not something to be happy about. You have to make something, so kind. This wonderful cafe that Sonali has made, she will not let this cafe for free, that everyone come and enjoy for free food. No, you have to pay for the food. So she has to kind of create that quality that you pay for the food. So we as directors, we have to make films so that the audience pay, because filmmaking is not a free process. A lot of money is involved. So we have to ensure that it is a commercial process. So my journey will be the same. I will be continuing to make films, whatever comes my way, all kind of films, and till the last day of my life I will be making films, because I don't know anything else. I have to make films.
So anyway, I'm sure we can put our hands together for this creative warrior. Let his journey go on. Let his search for maybe better films, quality films, more different kinds of ideas, communicating to the audience in new avatars. Let that be on. Now the second part we are going to start. You can order your food also. As Tathagata rightly said, the cafe has to run too, so the coffee and the snacks can flow in. You just look at the menu cards, which are, I'm sure, somewhere around you, and you can positively place your order. Yeah, Tathagata.
Before we come to the second part, because we'll be interacting with, since you are here and another cast member also is here of Akurik, so I'll introduce. So first let me talk about, এবার আমরা একটু বাংলায় বলি, কেন বাংলা ছবি করেছি আমরা। সো না, প্রশ্ন তোমাকে অভিষেক, যে অ্যাজ অ্যান অ্যাক্টর, যেহেতু আকুরিক একটু আমরা অফবিট ফিল্ম বানিয়েছি, নট আ টিপিক্যাল হিরো হিরোইন ফিল্ম, নট আ টিপিক্যাল সং অ্যান্ড ডান্স ফিল্ম, আমাদের চেষ্টা হয়েছে অ্যাজ এ ডিরেক্টর, আমার এটাই চেষ্টা হয়েছে যে অভিনয়গুলো যেন ভীষণ সাবলীল মনে হয়, ন্যাচারাল মনে হয়। সো এইরকম একটা ক্যারেক্টার, ইউ প্লে আ ভেরি ইম্পর্টেন্ট ক্যারেক্টার, তো ইউ শেয়ার ইউর এক্সপিরিয়েন্স, এই ধরনের চরিত্র যে করেছো, ন্যাচারালভাবে অ্যাক্টিংটা রাখতে হবে, গ্রাফটা যেন খুব ন্যাচারাল থাকে ওভারঅল ফিল্মের এফেক্টের জন্য, অ্যান্ড ইউ প্লে আ ফ্ল্যাম্বোয়েন্ট ক্যারেক্টার অলসো। সো সেই ক্যারেক্টারটা সম্বন্ধে একটু বলো, জাস্ট ওই চরিত্র সম্বন্ধে, এবং কীভাবে তুমি অ্যাপ্রোচ করেছো।
হ্যাঁ, এখানে দিব্যেশ বলে যে ক্যারেক্টারটা আমি করেছি, ঋতুপর্ণার একজন ক্লোজ ফ্রেন্ড এবং ঋতুপর্ণার সহকর্মী বলা যেতে পারে। তো আমি সত্যি করিনি, অ্যাকচুয়ালি আমায় তথাগত একটাই ব্রিফ দিয়েছিল, এক লাইনের, যে অভিষেক তুমি রিয়েল লাইফে যা, দিব্যেশ তাই। তুমি সারাক্ষণ ফিল্ম নিয়ে কথা বলছো, ফিল্ম নিয়ে ইভেন্ট করছো, ফিল্ম নিয়ে ফোন করছো, ফিল্ম নিয়ে তোমার হিরোইন বা তোমার ক্রু ডেট চাইছো, একদম তাই করবে। ঋতুপর্ণার সঙ্গে আমার যে কনভারসেশনটা, সেটা একদমই আমি অরিজিনাল লাইফে আমাকে যা করতে হয় তাই। এখানে একটা বিরাট সুবিধা ছিল, ঋতুপর্ণা আমার অনেক বছরের বন্ধু, তো সেই জন্য অবভিয়াসলি সেই একটা যে ঋতুপর্ণা সেনগুপ্তর সঙ্গে অভিনয় করার যে একটা কোল্ড ফিট, সেটা কোনো প্রবলেম ছিল না। তো দ্যাট ওয়াজ আ ভেরি বিগ অ্যাডভান্টেজ। বাট আমাদের প্রথম দিনেই শুটিং হয়, ফার্স্ট মহরতের দিনেই আমাদের শুটিংটা থাকে, এবং ইট ওয়াজ ভেরি এনজয়েবল। অ্যান্ড ঋতু অ্যান্ড আই উই মেট আফটার আ লং টাইম, কারণ ইন বিটুইন আমিও অন্য বিটেন ট্র্যাকে, ও অন্য ট্র্যাকে, সেটা অনেক বছর পর আবার দেখা হলো, সেটা খুবই আনন্দদায়ক ছিল, এবং উই অ্যাগেন রিউনাইটেড সেটা বলা চলে। আর তথাগত হচ্ছে এমনই একজন ডিরেক্টর যে খুব একটা ইন্টারফিয়ার করে না অভিনয়ের ব্যাপারে, হি হ্যাজ হিজ কাইন্ড অফ lines or the style ready, but if you do it in your style and it is in sync with whatever he has thought of, he is happy. He's not that এইভাবেই করতে হবে। I have worked with তপন সিনহা, I have worked with প্রভাত রায়, I have worked with উৎপলেন্দু, so ওরা আবার একটু ডিকটেট করে যে না তোমাকে একটু এইভাবে করতে হবে, এই ব্যাপারটা এরকম করো, কিন্তু তথাগত কিন্তু খুব ফ্রি ফ্লো দেয়, তো ইটস ভেরি কমফর্টেবল টু ওয়ার্ক উইথ হিম। আগেও ওর অনেক কটাতেই আমি অভিনয় করেছি, so it's a very enjoyable experience always working with him, and this was very very pleasant. And যদিও দিব্যেশের স্ক্রিন প্রেজেন্সটা কম, বাট ইট হ্যাজ ক্রিয়েটেড ইম্প্যাক্ট। কারণ আমি দেখলাম যে যারাই দেখেছে তারা বলছে আরে তুই তো কামাল করে দিচ্ছিস। সো আই ওয়াজ জাস্ট অভিষেক গাঙ্গুলি দেয়ার, অনলি আমার ফিল্মের নামটাই হয়ে গেছিল দিব্যেশ। ইয়া,
ওয়ান্ডারফুল। আমাদের আরেকজন কাস্ট মেম্বার আছে, সুদেশনা চক্রবর্তী, প্লিজ কাম। এখানে কি সুপ্রতিম এসছে? না, সুপ্রতিম এখনো আসেনি। সুদেশনা অলসো প্লেড আ ভেরি ইম্পর্ট্যান্ট ক্যারেক্টার। যারা দেখেছেন তারা তো দেখেছেন, আর যারা দেখেননি তাদের জন্য এবার একই প্রশ্ন সুদেশনাকেও আমি করছি, যে যেহেতু ফিল্মটা একটু অফবিট, অভিনয়গুলো ন্যাচারাল সাবলীল হতে হবে, সো অভিনেতা হিসেবে, অভিনেত্রী হিসেবে কী প্রিপারেশন এবং চরিত্রটা কী সেটা একটু আমরা ডিসকাস করি, আর কিভাবে সেটা মানে প্রিপারেশন মাথায় কি চলেছে সেটার জন্য।
হ্যাঁ, আকরিকে আমি ডক্টরের চরিত্রে অভিনয় করেছি। আর এই চরিত্রটা করতে গিয়ে যেটা করতে হয়েছে আমাকে, যেহেতু এটা একেবারেই রিয়েলিস্টিক সিনেমা, সো আমি প্রচুর মানে বেশ 7-8 জন ডক্টরের সাথে কিন্তু বেশ ওঠা বসা করেছি। তারা কেউ কেউ আমার বন্ধু হয়ে উঠেছেন, কারণ আমি এর আগে মানে আমার ফ্যামিলি বা নিজে এতবার এত ডক্টরের সাথে ওঠা বসা করেছি যে আমার পক্ষে এটা অনেকটা ইজি হয়ে গিয়েছিল যে এই চরিত্রটা করার জন্য। সো তাদের কথা বলার ধরন, তারা কিভাবে বন্ধুত্বপূর্ণভাবে আমাকে সাহায্য করেছেন, যখন আমি তাদের কাছে যেতেও পারিনি তখনও তারা কিভাবে আমাকে ফোনে বা কোনো না কোনোভাবে আমাকে এভাবে হেল্প করেছেন যে এই চরিত্রটা করতে গিয়ে আমি ঠিক সেই সেম জিনিসটাই কিন্তু ফুটিয়ে তুলতে চেয়েছি। এবং আমার মনে হয় ডিরেক্টর নিশ্চয়ই সেটা মানে ডিরেক্টর ইজ ভেরি হ্যাপি। এবং আমি বারবার জিজ্ঞেস করতাম যে আমাকে মনে হচ্ছে তো ডক্টর, কারণ আমি কিন্তু চেষ্টা করছি খুব কনভিন্সিংলি, খুব ন্যাচারাল অ্যাক্টিং করতে, কারণ এটা যেহেতু একেবারে রিয়েলিস্টিক সিনেমা। এবং আমার অপোজিটে যারা যারা অভিনয় করেছেন তারা তো এক একজন দিগ্গজ। আকরিক যারা দেখেছেন তারা জানেন, ভিক্টর ব্যানার্জি তো উনি তো লিজেন্ড। সো ওনার সাথে কাজ করার একটা অভিজ্ঞতা যে এত সুন্দর, আমার মনেই হয়নি যে কখনো যে আমি একটা কাজ করতে এসেছি এবং আমার অপোজিটে একজন এরকম বড় মাপের একজন মানুষ এবং অভিনেতা আছেন। তো ভীষণ ফ্যামিলি ফিলিং হয়েছে। অ্যান্ড সেম ব্যাপারটা আমার ঋতুপর্ণা সেনগুপ্ত এবং অনুরাধা রায়ের সাথে কাজ করতে গিয়েও হয়েছে। আমার কখনো মনে হয়নি যে আমি প্রথমবার ওনাদের সাথে মিট করছি বা এরকম একটা কোনো একটা ফিলিং। সবসময় মনে হচ্ছে হ্যাঁ সত্যিই আমি ওনাদের দেখতে গেছি, সেভাবেই চিকিৎসা করছি এবং সেটা বিশ্বাসযোগ্য করতে পেরেছি এবং চেষ্টা করেছি আর কি, সেটা আমার মনে হয়। তো সেটা যে পেরেছি সেটা আমার মানে বিশ্বাস করতে একটু সময় লাগছিল, তার কারণ যতক্ষণ না ডক্টর ব্যাপারটা লোকে বুঝতে পারছে আপনি কি সত্যিই ডক্টর। নন্দনে যখন আমাদের কিফে দেখানো হয়েছিল ছবিটা, তো কিছু কিছু লোকজন এসে বলেছে আচ্ছা আপনি কি সত্যিই ডক্টর, তখন আমি বললাম আপনার কি তাই মনে হচ্ছে, বলে হ্যাঁ। তো আমি বললাম তাহলে আমার কিন্তু পরিশ্রম সার্থক। তো সেটা কিফে হয়েছে, মানে বেশ কয়েকজন 7-8 জন বলেছে। এবং কিছুদিন আগে আমাদের ছবিটা যখন রিলিজ হয়েছে নন্দনে 7ই এপ্রিল, এবং তারপরে আমরা 2-1বার গিয়েছিলাম তো দেখতে যে দর্শকের কীরকম লাগছে ছবিটা, তো তাদের ফিডব্যাকটা নিতে একটু মানে চুপি চুপিই গিয়েছিলাম। তো দেখছিলাম যে তারা কি ইনভলভ হচ্ছে কি হচ্ছে না। তো আমি যেটা দেখলাম যে বেরোনোর পর অনেকেই, যখন আমি কোথাও দাঁড়িয়ে কফি খাচ্ছি বা আমার টিমের সাথে ইন্টারাক্ট করছি, অনেকে কিন্তু সেদে এসে আমাকে জিজ্ঞেস করেছেন যে আপনি কি ডক্টর চরিত্রটা করেছেন না, এত মানে সাবলীল এবং আপনাকে মনে হচ্ছে আপনি সত্যিই ডক্টর, আপনি কি সত্যি ডক্টর। তখন আমি বললাম আপনার যদি সেটা মনে হয়ে থাকে তাহলে কিন্তু আমার পরিশ্রম সার্থক। তো যেটা বলবো যে এইরকম একটা চরিত্র করতে পেরে এবং ফুটিয়ে তুলতে পেরেছি, তার পুরোটাই ডেফিনেটলি পরিচালকের কৃতিত্ব আমি দেব নিশ্চয়ই, যে আমাকে এরকম একটা সুন্দর রোল দেওয়ার জন্য, যেটা আমি খুব আমার কমফোর্টেবল লেগেছে। এবং ডেফিনেটলি প্রডিউসারকেও বলবো ধন্যবাদ যে এরকম একটা ভালো প্রজেক্টে উনি আমাদের সঙ্গে ছিলেন এবং এত সুন্দর সুস্থভাবে আমরা শুটিং করেছি। এবং সত্যি অভিজ্ঞতাটা অসাধারণ, মানে যখন আমাদের শুটিংটা শেষ হলো খুব খারাপ লাগছিল মনটা। তো যাই হোক, এখন আকরিক যখন সবার সামনে এসছে দর্শকের ভালো লাগছে, তো আমাদের পুরো টিমের সকলে যে পরিশ্রম সেটা কিন্তু সার্থক। তো আশা করি যে এইরকমভাবেই আপনাদের মনোরঞ্জন করতে পারবো এবং বিশ্বাসযোগ্য একটা চরিত্র ফুটিয়ে তোলার যে পরিশ্রম আমি করেছি সেটা যেন ভবিষ্যতেও করতে পারি।
একটাই কথা, এরকম সুন্দরী যদি ডাক্তার হয় তোকে দেখেই তো অর্ধেক রোগ সেরে যাবে। না, ভীষণ ভালো করেছে। মানে আমি তো কো অ্যাক্টর হিসেবে, যদি ওর সঙ্গে আমার কোনো সিকোয়েন্স ছিল না, কিন্তু ডাক্তারের প্রশংসা কিন্তু ভীষণ হয়েছে। আমার অনেক বন্ধু বা আমার যারা টিমের লোকজন দেখেছে, তারা কিন্তু প্রত্যেকে সুদেষ্ণার এই অভিনয়ের ভীষণ 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 সাবলীল ন্যাচারাল ব্যাপারটা হয়েছে। থ্যাংক ইউ। হ্যাঁ, এবার আমরা কিন্তু ইটস ওপেন টু দ্য ফ্লোরস অ্যান্ড উই উড লাইক, many of you have seen Akorik, many haven't seen, many are independent film warriors, many are producers here. So we would like you to come here and maybe have a question for Tathagata. I'm sure Tathagata would be having his answers ready. Why don't we start with Olokananda? Please come, please come.
এক মিনিট ম্যাডাম, আমি আগে ডাকতে চাইছি, যেহেতু এখানে অনেক ফিল্মমেকার্স আছে, তো তাদের জন্য আমি একটা কথা বলেছি, উইচ ইজ আ ফ্যাক্ট, কি যারা ফিল্মস বানাতে মানে চাইছেন বা অফবিট ফিল্ম, যেহেতু আমাদের সাবজেক্টটা হচ্ছে অফবিট ফিল্মস, তো সেটার জন্য তো প্রডিউসারের দরকার। তো আমাদের মধ্যেই একজন প্রডিউসার আছেন, তো ওনার আমি জানতে চাইবো যে ওনার অভিজ্ঞতা, বিকজ হি অলসো হ্যাজ মেড ফিল্মস উইচ হ্যাভ বিন অফবিট, which has been kind of beyond the normal track, এবং উনি ভীষণভাবে ওই ফিল্ম মেকার্সদের সাপোর্ট করেছেন, কারণ ওনারা ওই ছবিগুলো বানাতে পেরেছেন বিকজ এনার মতন মানুষ প্রডিউস করেছেন বলে। তো আমি রতন ঝাওয়ারজিকে একটু ডাকতে চাই, বিকজ আজকের today's event is very much not only about me or Akorik, it is about how much prospect offbeat cinema has in Bengali films. So he has been a producer of offbeat films. তো ইনি যে সাপোর্ট করেছেন, উনি কেন করেছেন, ওনার যে প্যাশনটা একটা ফিল্ম মেকারকে সাপোর্ট করে, সো সেটা ভীষণ দরকার আমাদের ওনার সঙ্গে শোনা। সো ঝাওয়ার जी, यू शेयर योर एक्सपीरियंस, आप बताइए कि ऑफबीट सिनेमा को आप सपोर्ट किए हैं, तो आपको क्या लगता है ऑफबीट फिल्म्स का भविष्य क्या है, और प्रोड्यूसर्स को कितना आगे आना चाहिए ऑफबीट फिल्म्स बनाने के, डायरेक्टर्स का विजन को साकार करने के लिए?
Thank you, Tathagata, for calling me at first. And it's fact that I had made 3 feature films and recently made 1 short film, and all the films are offbeat. There is no music, but in the first film it was little bit that some songs were there, some bhajans were there, and that was also a good movie. But in the box office it was not so well done, but the movie was very nice. The film was 𝐁𝐄𝐘𝐓 on Rabindranath Tagore's story, and I find that offbeat cinema nowadays, the trend is of offbeat cinemas, because the peoples are fed up with all the dances, sequence, the family drama, and so now people want something extraordinary, something new thing. So I don't think that offbeat cinema, we can't ignore offbeat cinemas, although everything will be in line, the songs and that dance sequences and all this will also go on, but some kind of offbeatness must be there, and that public should realize that what the thing the director is going to say, what message it's going to convey. The message is the main thing, the context is the main thing in the story. If the story has got no context and just going on here, that it will not make any impact on the audience. But concept of the story and all the things, that should be very much there, and then I think the offbeat cinema nowadays, you might have noticed that so many Bengali offbeat films, and in 1 or 2 there is no leading actor also, so that run very well.
Just like Apology, they didn't have any leading star. It's only because of the concept that it ran. There are other films also. Thank you, Ratanji.
Thank you.
producers like you should, support.
Absolutely.
And we need we directors who would like to do offbeat films need producers like Ratanji, so that the creative bar of Bengali cinema rises.
Absolutely, Ratanji. We must have more Ratan Jhavas. Fantastic. Alakananda, please. Alakananda is a very creative woman. She is a motivational speaker. She is a writer. She acts. She is a presenter. She, motivates people a lot. And Alakananda, the biggest, qualification of hers is she has seen Akurik. So I'm sure that she will have something to tell Tathagata about Akurik. And apart from that, obviously, you also write a lot of, things which are beyond the beaten track. Your books are already here in the library, Wisdom Tree Library. So what is your take on, first of all, Akurik, your feedback to the director directly? Good, bad, ugly, just tell him, this is we've got him now. One part is that. The other part is, tell us, what's your take on, having something offbeat? As Ratanji very rightly said, things are becoming offbeat. Even commercial films are thinking a bit hatke now. So that hatke pan, is it something which is very, very welcome? Yeah, Alakananda.
First of all, I want to congratulate Tathagata and the entire team for such a lovely movie. I was really privileged to be there on the very first day, first show, and it really made me very emotional, because now our world is reeling under relationship crisis, and that is what we see in this movie. There are different kind of relationships in this. There is relationship between husband and wife, relationship between neighbors, grandfather, grandchild, and friends. It's just basically all about relationship. And what Tathagata just said just now is that from joint family, we have shifted into nuclear, and then now single parenting. And this has become a very burning issue nowadays everywhere about single parenting. I think technology has creeped a lot into our life, and to take away that, the bond that we have within the family. Nowadays, most of the times we see, even when the family is sitting together, they are probably on their mobiles, they are on their laptops. What was not there, when technology was not, because I grew up without technology. When I grew up, we didn't have television also. So even dinners and all used to be a very family affair. All of us would sit together, we'll chat together, we'll go out together, which has completely changed now. Children are playing football, but on the computer, on the laptop. People are exercising. They say we are doing morning walk, but what are they doing? They are basically having their feet on that little machine, and the machine is working. So technology has creeped into our life, and it is actually ruining our life completely. So I think it's very important that offbeat films is seen by people, and I think it is being appreciated by people. Because what I have seen that earlier, the commercial films which have, which we used to see earlier, it has got all the masalas in that. Nach, drama, dushum, dhashum and everything. We used to love all that. But nowadays when we see that, especially when the music part comes, we fast forward it, because we are getting tired of all that running behind around the trees and all, But what catches our attention are these offbeat films, the stories which we connect. Now, I'm an author. I have written 3 books, and I have co-authored 15 books. All my stories are like that, they are all, based on real life incidents that are happening everywhere. It's about relationship, it's about ego, patience and forgiveness, and they are all real stories. And I've seen people connect to that. And the same is with Akurik, because Akurik is it's connecting people, and offbeat films, people connect to that because they are relating to that, they are learning from that. And when people love a character, when they love the film, they start somehow they start following those, if the film gives them some message, even the the audience's mindset changes. People start thinking about that. So like for example, Akurik, after seeing that, I actually cried in the hall, because when she was crying, and I completely got into the film, and I was feeling sorry for the child, and I was thinking the mother is so helpless, but then what can she do? she's taking care of the child. If she doesn't work, if she doesn't do anything, then how is she going to take care of the child? Again, and whatever she's doing for the child. So it's so difficult. That we can talk later. But Tathagata, there is one thing that, because there's a web series that both of us do, that is Showstoppers. It's about people facing challenges. Now, you have faced a lot of challenges from what you have said just now. From the very beginning, like you said, getting a producer, and then, of course, approaching an actor, the big stars, and, hoping that they, join you in your film, and then getting it released, getting a screen and everything. And that is not the end of it, because after that you want the audience to watch. There are so many things. So these challenges must be creeping into your night sleep also. I mean, how do you rewind? How do you unwind? How are you handling these challenges?
The stress.
And how are you coming out of these challenges? I mean, because it becomes, what happens is that it becomes a part of your life. Whether you are doing the, directing the film, whether you are on the sets, but when you come back home, do you keep back all that and then you come home and relax, or that is still eating, giving you sleepless nights? How do you handle all that?
No, see, for any profession, if you have to excel, you have to take whatever comes as part of the profession. Okay, so you can't have, and in any profession, there are challenges. Okay, so that should never give you sleepless nights. Okay, so but yes, stress will be there, and you can't just leave your work and come back. It cannot happen that way. Even if a lot of people say that I leave work and I come back, it doesn't happen. If you really want to excel, it has to be there in your mind, because only then you can perform, okay, and you can compete. So in filmmaking, this part of the profession. Okay, first of all, to kind of create a story, to write the screenplay, then fix up the team, okay, cast and crew. In documentaries, since I make documentaries, corporate, so there's no cast, but crew is there. Okay, so then getting a producer, or if you're making a film for a client, to understand the brief of the client, to satisfy the client. So this is part of the profession. So as a director, I should not be kind of bogged down by, this is what I have to live with. And that's for all filmmakers. Okay, so like a surgeon who has an operation, every day, if he or she, kind of comes, has sleepless nights, that will the patient live or die, because that's part of the profession. He has to cut someone open. Okay, so that's something is part of our life. So no, it doesn't give me sleepless nights, but can't avoid stress. Of course, stress is definitely there, but then. In filmmaking, there's a difference from other profession. In fact, any creative, in writing also, that if you're following a passion, if your passion becomes your profession, then even you enjoy that stress, okay? Because you have chosen this from your passion. So you have to live with it. So yes, I enjoy every day, though all this stress will go on for the rest of my life. So it cannot be a very comfortable journey ever. But an uncomfortable journey is the most comfortable for such fields.
Actually.
It's like giving birth to a baby. The labor pain is there, but the baby is going to come out, and when you see the baby smile,
right,
the entire pain goes off. It's like that.
It's just like
Absolutely.
One of my quotes is that, if you push past, if you challenge the challenges and push past it, you sparkle like a diamond. And I think that's what you are doing and you have done. And I think you are right, that we have to, unless and until we look challenge in the eye and let it bow down, you'll always be stressed. So I think it's everything is embracing the challenges and going along with that. And of course, there is always a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. So I wish you all the best with your story, with your movie, and in the future
with
also.
Akurik's success, he's sparkling like a diamond.
Yes,
I'm sure.
yes, absolutely.
No,
because
there is one part which you all don't know. Some of them know that he is very much into workouts. So I know, like.
so that itself is like a meditation.
Absolutely. So he, works out his stress also. In the mornings, you will never get Tatha.
Yes.
In the morning, 2-3 hours, he is doing his gymming,
Basically
walking, meditation.
Working out is his way of meditating.
Absolutely.
No, for filmmakers, we have to be physically fit. Okay.
Absolutely.
So, and since I've been into corporate films, documentaries as well, you have to do running around just like Abhishek also. So, and we have done it from a very young age. Okay. And now see, this is my 30th year. So physical fitness has to be there, apart from the mental, because unless you're physically fit, you won't be conduct a floor. A director has to conduct a flow. With 100 technicians around, okay, you have to conduct a flow. You have to be physically fit. Okay, so yeah, workouts help.
Actually, physically fit and mentally fit go hand in hand. And yes, there is a lot of hard work which goes behind filmmaking, which kind of we are experiencing and seeing and enjoying it also. But all the best with you for all your future films and movies, and I'm looking forward to seeing the next one too.
Absolutely. Thank you, Alokananda.
Thank you,
It was
everyone.
lovely. You have opened a lot of new areas for us.
Thank you so
much. Yeah. So who will be coming next? Shall I call someone or
There are some filmmakers, so
Yeah,
come one by one.
Let us call Meet Vasudevan. Meet,
Oh, acha, Meet has come. Okay,
another award-winning filmmaker and actor also. Meet, please come. Meet has been a great friend of ours, an independent filmmaker. He's a wonder. He acts, he writes scripts, he does his own camera work, he directs. He's a package, everything together. And I have had the fortune of working with him. I have done the voiceover for one of his films. I couldn't roll there, I always tell him that roll there. But Meet is a wonderful, again, a very thorough gentleman, keeps to his words. So Meet, you have seen Akorik. Would you like to tell something to the director?
First of all,
also Meet, just let me say, okay, Akorik দেখেছো বলবোই ঠিক আছে, সাথে সাথে এটা বলো সবাইকে, আমিও জানতে চাই, since you also have made films which are offbeat. So আজকে বাংলা সিনেমায় মানে অফবিট সিনেমার কতটা প্রসপেক্ট বলে তোমার মনে হয় অ্যাজ আ ফিল্মমেকার, সেটার উপরে বেশি জোর দিও।
first of all, thank you, Tathagata and Abhishek, for calling me, and with so many flowery words, I'm out of my words. Still, I would like to first say about indie filmmaking. And indie filmmaking is very closely related to offbeat films. As Satyajit Ray has once said, like everybody know, if you want to turn for inspiration, turn towards life and realism or reality of it. And I have seen that in Akorik. I've seen that emotion, that overwhelming response. Because as an indie filmmaker, we definitely need a lot of painstaking determination, resilience and vision to connect with the sort of audience we want to. So, and Akorik has done its part very well. It has very well connected with a very particular audience, but it was because I took my Didi and she was like tears, but she was not able to express like how she touched, how she was so much into it. And I, as a storyteller, was learning a lot from it, from the art part of it, and it's very much real, as the doctor part played by Didi was very much, and all normally those cast I have seen in other films also, and how they are doing their part, but in this I have seen that they were very much very natural, so that's one thing which I need to learn lots of as a filmmaker. So offbeat films are actually as a filmmaker, it gives us opportunity to spread awareness, to touch human heart. So if we as an independent filmmaker do our part and spread this awareness, and because normally Bollywoodish films and those as ma'am said, running around tree and all, that actually might give a dose of dopamine or something for some time, but it will not carry through our life. But while watching films like Akorik or other offbeat films, which are very difficult, because that's why I said painstakingly determination is needed to take out from its story part to the audio-visual format where we are seeing it with so much audience getting, which is very painstaking as an independent filmmaker. because we have to, we do not have actually Jhawar sir type of producers with us. We are very, and I also have a producer called Syed Parvez Hassan. He has come with me. He is 83 years old. He has been right hand of Madhubala and other great actors. So he helps me a lot. Like when I go to him or to producers like this, those who are want to spread some, want to show life on screen, which is actually very tough. Otherwise, we can show many things. So it is very difficult thing as a filmmaker. I am also understanding to make people believe. एक गाना अगर डालते तो मजा आ जाता. But we know as the story this is not needed. But वो बिक्री कैसे होगा? And if you can take some big brand or stars to be part of it so that it can be showcased or shown many other places. That also, because there can be many things. The person says no, I need producer is needed. Producer says no. First you get that person to say yes to the film. So there are lots of things, and that person will say you have to change your. So there are many things which we have to cross. And as ma'am again said that there's a gold at the end of the rainbow. So we have to be actually as a humanist. More we are humanist because we want to do good stuff. We want to show life. We want to make people. Show them what we are and whether we can be aware of it. But awareness is first thing I have seen as a filmmaker, which makes us understand life and then portray it later on with different technologies which has come now. But in this digital world, it is getting very easier for us to show our talent, so that there are now show reels have come, so that what I can do, I can show it to and produce to other. And an Indian filmmaker, Indian indie filmmakers, as I have studied before coming here, I was seeing that they have done a lot in like films, like very just I was that you were also talking about that film. Or crowdfunding. They have done a lot of crowdfunding, and then so there are lots of people. There are crowdfunding for the films because they know we don't need one producer. We need many people, and at least those who are crowdfunding will also watch, and their relatives will watch, and that is only the success of, because we don't need to. We have our niche, we have our audience, so we want that film to reach that. So Akorik has done a very good part, and I would like to watch it again.
Thank you so much, Meet.
We have a young filmmaker from London Film School, is it?
Yes.
Okay.
She's a student filmmaker.
Student filmmaker from London Film School. You please introduce yourself and tell us exactly, what are you doing, and have you seen Akorik? You haven't. Okay.
So, as a new filmmaker, I just wanted to ask you, are there any habits I should imbibe to like hone my craft? Is this something I should do every day as a filmmaker?
See, you have to be honest to your profession. You must love your work, and you must be ready to face challenges. You should not dream of becoming a very successful or celebrated filmmaker. You have to dream of making good films. The dream should be to making good films, to do good work. Not I become a celebrated maker, or become a very big name, because those will come only if you do good work. And to do good work, you need to be honest to your work, but it's very tough to really do good work, because with all this today's competition and today's rivalry and a lot of challenges, other challenges also beyond the control of filmmakers. You have to accept those facts and not grudge or not complain. You have to carry on and be honest to your craft. Just love your craft till the end. As long as you can fight. Don't drop your weapons. Never.
Thank you, sir.
Very well said, and I'm sure that this will be really stirring up the young mind, and this I'm sure will go to London also. You can talk to your friends also. Before I go to Veronica, I would like to have another friend of ours who's a producer director here, Mr. Pritish Boral. Pritish Babu has watched na. Apni ekটু আসুন না এখানে এসে আরে এখানটা এসে সেটা একটু বলতে পারবেন তো আসুন
না আকরিক নিয়ে বলতে হবে না, আপনিও তো ফিল্মস বানান, অফবিট ফিল্ম ও আচ্ছা খাচ্ছে তো পরে পরে পরে
প্রীতিশ বাবু এখন বোধহয় হ্যামবার্গার চেবাচ্ছিলেন ঠিক আছে we will go to Pritish Babu later on. We have another very happening lady director here. I have had the fortune of being her DOP as well as doing a bit role in her film, Veronica Kayal. Veronica is an independent filmmaker, and Veronica her films go to shots every year, and she has watched Akorik. So Veronica, your take on being hatke and being different, as well as if you would like to say something about Akorik.
Good evening, everyone. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you, Tathagata, for having me here. First of all, I would like to congratulate all the independent filmmakers in this room, starting with Tathagata, because it is a mighty challenge to be able to stand your ground, to be able to decide that I don't care who produces my film, I will do my own stuff. I will start with myself, because I'll tell you, I started writing and people said you write well. So I took my scripts to people and said, will you please produce? And there were no producers. Then I put the script down and said, I will produce my own films. So I am a teacher by profession, and like all working people, I had to make a choice that from my income I keep separate. Karte. I had enough money to make my own film. And that's how the journey started. And that's when I realized the power of becoming the producer. I'm sorry to say, I wanted to start as a technician, scriptwriter, if you can call a technical person. I started as a technician, but destiny wanted me to taste what is power. And I became a producer. I am not saying that I'm a producer as in producer, but in the hierarchy of filmmaking, I'm sure you understand the producer has a big time position.
Importance.
Yes, let's face it. So when I realized that I am a producer and everything else follows from me, then I said I got the taste of what is to be in the film, in the genre, in this craft. And therefore I decided that now, if I'm asking somebody to invest in me, in my project, I should be able to be confident enough to love my project and to be invested in it. That's my first thing. We are always looking for producers to invest in our project, no? Then why don't I produce my own project? Let me be confident about my project. Let me spend my money, because money is our precious thing. If we love something, we should be able to give that money to procure it. So I said, if I love my project and if I'm asking somebody to invest, and it's a short film, why don't I do it myself? And that started the journey. I have made 12 short films. And therefore, when I see Tathagata, in this field of independent filmmaking, although now he has gone to the border, he's crossed the borders. No, but he has always been supportive of independent filmmakers. I would see Akorik as the threshold. It is not, correct me if I am wrong, you have stood your ground as an independent filmmaker, and you have, gone to the other side of commercial filmmaking. Am I correct? And that is a very, very...
No, yes, correct. But see, as you just now said, that if you are making a film with your own money, then you have that independence to do what you feel like. Now, if you are working with some other people's money and still want your way out, then you have to kind of convince that person, and you have to be so much convinced about it yourself that the other person who's investing money understands that you are confident, convinced. Okay, and then he puts the money. So if you're working with a producer, then definitely the credit goes to the producer to back your film. Okay, so when I made Akorik, see, even before that, even if you do commercial films, I've done so many commercial films also with producers, but even in commercial films you have to put your own mind, because director, it's a director's film. Okay, I'm not talking about those films where directors surrender to the producers and bhai aap jo chahte hum kar denge. So I don't call them directors at all. Okay, a director, whether he's making a commercial film or an artistic film, an offbeat film, a not so offbeat film, whatever film, it is the director's film. Film is a director's medium. So he has to make what he wants to make. But if the money comes from someone else, then the credit goes to that person who puts that money. Okay. So yes, so your question is that the constant, even if I'm thinking independently, even I'm doing my own stuff, I have to be constantly kind of motivating that person that you have put your money in the right place. Okay, so that has to be there.
Because yes, at the end of the day, somebody is doing business here.
Of course.
And that is where you are so confident, because see, we as independent filmmakers, we think that this is my domain, my storytelling, we will do it my way. In a lot of ways, we are not looking at the audience's mass reaction, because we are into our own creative zone, where we think we will give them a very niche topic, a very niche presentation. Maybe that might backfire, no? Many times it happens as an independent filmmaker. Why? One of the reasons why we are still independent filmmakers and we don't have producers backing up is because we are not the people, we are not appealing to the masses. But in this case, Akurik, I have seen, has crossed the barriers. That is the beauty of this film. And I say this because somewhere when you are talking in terms of commercialization of the film, we are talking business. Let's face it, at the end of the day, somebody's put in money, somebody's making money. And Akurik has taken up the challenge of bridging this barrier. Independent filmmakers, at the end of the day, we are in our own zone. But you have crossed the threshold.
No, nothing like that. Not crossing threshold, nothing like that. Film is the film. What I want to say is that, see, commercials in any film, film is made with money. So commercially, which film will succeed or fail, there is no mathematics. Big mainstream cinema, they collapse, they fail. Sometimes very small films, they become hits. So commercially, what a film will succeed or not, that's a completely different story, because it is not in the hands of the director, it is not in the hands of the producer, it is not in the hands of the actors, not in the hands of anyone. Okay. Even the audience, suppose someone wants to see a film, does he or she know whether I will like the film or not? No. They want to check the film out. So even they are unsure whether the film will be good or bad. No, there is no audience who knows that, okay, I am watching a good film. No. They buy a ticket in the hope that I will get to see a good film. But they may become hopeless after seeing the film.
Yes, true.
Okay, so the commercials are a completely different story. None of us hand in it. Everything is our conviction that yes, we are trying to do something good. That conviction has to synchronize the producer, the director, the actor, the technicians, the marketing people, the PR people. Total, that entire circle has to be kind of in sync, in total harmony. That yes, we are doing something good. That is the only way we can succeed. Even then we may not succeed. Okay, because it's a creative art. She's a writer, she writes a book, hoping that people will like it. But can she guarantee that people will like the book? May not. So will she leave writing? No. She has to still write in the hope. So in any creative, so Ratanji, apart from being a producer, he's a singer. Okay, he sings songs, he does programs, hoping that people will like it. But he cannot guarantee that people will like his songs. So any creative art, there is no guarantee that there will be commercial success or success. We can only hope. But the chances of success will be maximum if this harmony is there. The producer also believes, yes, we are doing something good. Director also believes, yes, we are doing something good. artists also believe, yes, we are doing something good. It has to be complete a teamwork. Just like in sports, before any match, does a team know whether we will win or lose? Maybe in tennis or cricket or football, hockey, no team knows that we will win. But there is some kind of conviction in the team that yes, we will win. So if that conviction is there, we will win. Chances are that they can win. So that's it.
Thanks, Veronica. Yeah, and very rightly said. You have to be in synchrony. You have to believe in the final mission. Everyone in the team really needs to believe that. Can we have Himadri? Himadri, you became his friend after. He has become your friend after watching Akorik, is it?
Yeah, I didn't know him. It's good that I invited him. I invite him today, and good that he came.
A small feedback from you, or
so no, he has been. No, first let me kind of tell you, because all producers there, directors there. Now, when I met him in Nandan, we never knew him. So I just asked him, what are you are here. So he said that I watch all films in Nandan. Whatever films come, I will watch. So he is an audience to watch good films. So he said that no, whatever films comes in Nandan, I will watch all films. So that is something great. So I said that, are you going to watch Akorik now? So he said, yes, I'm going to watch Akorik now. So okay, but not because he wants to watch Akorik. He is a routine that I will watch all films. So he is actually a boon to filmmakers. Okay, I got him because that particular day when I was there, he was there. But even if I wouldn't have been there, he would have come and watched Akorik. So he's a boon to all filmmakers, because here is a person who wants to spend money, buy ticket and see good films. Because in Nandan normally off-beat films only come. So warm round of applause for him. He doesn't want to restrict himself to seeing films on OTT or television. He comes and buys a ticket and sees a film. So coincidentally we met. So apni bolun, but whatever, you say that, you love to watch films on big screen, because it's very much needed for directors like us. If you want to survive, people should be ready to watch films on the big screen, not limited to their mobile phones. So here is a person who wants to watch films on big screen. Forget about Akorik, don't say anything about Akorik, because we're not advertising Akorik. You say that what makes you kind of feel that I want to watch the film on big screen.
Thank you very much, Tathagata, for inviting me in such a wonderful platform. And the other way around, I really love to see movies in the movie hall. I never ever accept, or I have never ever seen any movies in TV or in any small gadgets. I go to and that's what I learned from my father. Because my late father was also he was a vivid film watcher. He used to watch every movies, and let me say that there was a movie called Towering Inferno, which I have seen 7 times consecutively, all the 7 Sundays, along with my father. So, right from my school days, my father helped me, and that is still there with me. And nowadays, I still go to Nandan, I buy tickets, I watch movie, and then I start realizing that whether it is good or bad. Of course, in the mean period, in this last 10 days time, I have seen all the movies. I can vividly say that yes, I have seen all the movies, and I can very well say that which is good to me and which is bad to me, which I will not say right now over this platform, because this is not the place to criticize. But I will definitely, I see to it that most of my known people, my fraternities, all my relatives and everybody, I used to take them along with me. I have taken my 87 years old father-in-law with me for a movie. and that he has said that Himadri, after a long period I have come. I said, so whatsoever. You cannot see in the TV, you cannot realize the movie if you don't see it in the. So I love it, and thank you, Tathagata, for meeting you.
Absolutely, big screen needs Himadris.
Thank you so much. Thank
Yeah,
you
yeah.
so much.
Thank you, Himadri. Thank you so much. We have a lot of creative people here. Shumita
wants to come?
Bhattacherjee,
Yeah,
Orpita
whoever wants to
Chatterjee.
come, please.
Yeah, Shumita, if you can kindly come. We just have a question. No. Come.
No,
come,
nothing
come.
to do with my
Come,
film.
come. I had a
just the
different
subject.
Different question for you. Come, please. Shumita Bhattacherjee has been an English teacher of Baligan Shikkashodhan, and she has her own brand called Music Down the Corridor, which is a fantastic teacher-student team, and they perform, musicals, which some are retro, some are contemporary, some are futuristic. We have done a lot of programs together here itself in Wisdom Tree Cafe. Shumita, one question, or the main theme of this entire evening is beyond the beaten track. Now, you are also very experimental in the kind of work which you do. So, do you think offbeat is at times very challenging or very adventurous, or you think it has a lot of thrill in it?
Yes, it is. Yeah, fine. Am I heard? Yeah, of course, it's very challenging, Abhishek, but the thrill comes from the challenges you face. And like most of you have discussed earlier, when you're sleeping with it, even during the wakeful hours, it's very much there in your mind because you are working with a purpose, and that is to reach out to the wider audience, whatever be the form of craft, be it filmmaking or anything other than that. My question to you, sir, in fact, to many of you who watched the film, not a question really, it's something that I would like you to throw some light on. I understand, as I said, I have not seen the movie, so I cannot speak from the perspective of someone, who has seen it. There is a single mother in the film, and she's taking care of a child. Now the pressures of doing that, the pressure of raising a child all on your own, can be insurmountable. Now, to what extent have you portrayed, how it is for a woman to be doing that? And I think she does it fairly efficiently. So, that is something, being a woman, I'd like to know what it is to raise a child single-handedly.
No.
And emotionally, does she crumble in doing so?
No, for that you have to see the film. You have to watch the film.
It's in its fourth week.
because whatever I wanted to convey, the film is not about a single mother only. It's a part. In the film's concept is that the Bengali community, we had come from a traditional joint family structure, and that over the years have disintegrated into nuclear families and now to even single parenting. So whether in this process we have progressed, become more independent, or have we drifted away from our roots? Okay, Akorik means or in English, O-R-E, or. So this is a story of a 75-year-old man, played by Victor Banerjee, who hails from the joint family structure. He meets a 10-year-old kid in the hills. They both go to the hills and they meet. Now this 10-year-old is a product of single parenting. He lives with his single mother, played by Rituparna Sengupta. Now the film is about this philosophical journey that this man and the boy, they have, despite coming from two different cultural backgrounds, how they bond, and there is a cultural exchange. And I have a neutral take on it, that I have not shown that the joint family structure was very good, single parenting is bad, or single parenting is good. That it is a neutral take for the audience to decide that whether we have progressed or have we drifted away from our roots. So to show that in the process, I have kind of delved into all kind of crises and situations that these people face. So single mother, I have tried to definitely portray the challenges, what your question was. Here Rituparna Sengupta plays a very celebrated writer, okay, and she feels that she is both the father and the mother to the child. She loves her son extremely, but she doesn't have enough time to devote. Okay, so she has that guilt within. The child also complains that you have not been able to give me good time and all. He misses the mother, but the child also loves the mother. So all these portions are really delved into her own pains, her own suffering, her own sorrows, challenges, but yet the hope that yes, he is my child and he is my treasure, and I'm working and living life for this particular child. So this has been portrayed. Now how far I've been able to do that as a director, that's so you have to see. But your questions I've tried to do
Sure.
these things.
And I know, so it is perfectly relatable and something that...
Alakananda ma'am, who has seen, she might say, because she has seen that whether those portions are there
No,
correctly or not.
I would like to
someone
watch the
someone
film.
who's seen.
And know things for myself, absolutely. But if it is about relationships, which I'm sure it is, I'm sure you have explored what human relationships are like, and what the stretch and pull in a relationship can be. And I can tell you something from my experience I just want to share with you. I lost my husband last year, just about 10 months now. And very recently I lost my mother. So the vacuum that I feel within, they were two most important people to me, and there was a lot of sharing between us, is immense, and my daughter doesn't stay here. So it's like basically I'm all on my own. And I have found a way out. I have made friends with my plumber, my electrician. I sit and have tea with them. You won't believe it. Even the chai wala down the lane, I walk up and talk to him, because there are times that I want to relate and connect. And I cannot do that with the walls around me. Oh, I'm very fond of music and I write also. But then there are times that on a human level, I want to relate and interact.
Absolutely. Don't forget us, we are your friends too.
Yes,
We are always,
Abhishek.
trying to experiment with new ideas. So that's why I called her, whether she would like to be adventurous and be beyond the, beaten track. Thank you, Shumita,
Absolutely.
Thank you so much,
for
ma'am.
sharing
Thank you.
something which is straight out of your, heart.
Yes.
Yeah, Tathagata.
I will call Kalulda later. I will first. I have a guest here. Thank you, ma'am, so much for sharing your life. Thank you so much, ma'am. We have a guest from Mumbai. Okay, Apurvada, please join. He came just because of this. He's leaving. He's an old friend. Apurva Banerjee is a music composer working in Mumbai. Okay, so for many years. So Apurvada, you just share. You have seen Akurik well. Don't say anything about Akurik because we have heard a lot. I don't want to hear praises for my film anymore. I would like to ask you, you have been doing music for regular stuff and all. So as a music composer working in Mumbai, and our subject is offbeat cinema in Bengali cinema. What do you feel? Offbeat cinema has some prospects in Bengali cinema, and you as a music director would like to really work in realistic cinema. So that is your take.
Thank you. I can speak in English, but I don't want to. আমি বাংলায় বলতে চাই, কেন কি এটা বাংলার কথা হচ্ছে, তো বাংলায় বলতে চাই, সরি। থ্যাংক ইউ তথাগতদা, থ্যাংক ইউ অভিষেকদা, থ্যাংক ইউ অডিয়েন্স। আমাদের ইয়েতে বাংলা সিনেমায় খুব ভালো হয় যদি এই অফবিট সিনেমার মধ্যে যদি ভালো ভালো গান হয়, ভালো ভালো হয়, কেন কি আমরা এই গানগুলোকে মিস করি। আজকাল যেরকম গান হয় কিংবা যা হয় সেইগুলি আশা করি আমাদের অফবিট সিনেমায় কমসে কম ওই গানগুলো হবে না।
Talking about music, in Akurik, it is not a songless film. যারা দেখেছেন সব জানে। উনি ঠিক কথাই বলেছেন, অফবিট সিনেমা মানেই যে গান থাকবে না তা কিন্তু নয়। গানের ব্যবহারটা কিভাবে হবে। ওকে, when I said that song and dance kind of film, I meant the unrealistic song and dance. ওকে, যেগুলো আমাদের কমার্শিয়াল সিনেমায় করতে হয়। ওকে, কিন্তু অফবিট সিনেমা মানেই যে গান থাকবে না তা নয়, তাহলে কি মিউজিক কম্পোজাররা কী করবে? মিউজিক ইটসেলফ ইজ ভেরি ইম্পর্ট্যান্ট। তো তার ব্যবহারটা খুব ইম্পর্ট্যান্ট। তো আগরিকে আমি একটা থিম সং রেখেছি যেটা খুব রিয়েলিস্টিক, এবং আমি 3টে রবীন্দ্রসঙ্গীতকে ইউজ করেছি বিকজ আমার মনে হয়েছিল যে যেহেতু এটা বাংলা কালচার নিয়ে আমি ছবি বানিয়েছি, সো রবীন্দ্রসঙ্গীতের ইউসেজটা খুব দরকার, এবং বাংলা সিনেমায় এখন রবীন্দ্রসঙ্গীত প্রায় হয়ই না। তো এটা আমি একটা এক্সপেরিমেন্ট করেছিলাম।
খুব ভালো করেছেন, এটা দারুণ লেগেছে আমার।
তো সেইটা এই জন্য অপূর্বদার কথাটা খুব ইম্পর্ট্যান্ট এখানে, যে যারা মিউজিক করে তারা যদি একটু অন্য রকমের মিউজিক করার সুযোগ পায়, বা আমরা ডিরেক্টর হিসাবে যদি সেই চ্যালেঞ্জটা দিতে পারি অফবিট সিনেমায় গানের ব্যবহার, হ্যাঁ, তো মিউজিক তো ভীষণ ইম্পর্ট্যান্ট। আর মিউজিক তো শুধু গানই নয়, মিউজিকটা তো ব্যাকগ্রাউন্ড মিউজিক, ব্যাকগ্রাউন্ড স্কোর সব মিলে। হ্যাঁ, আজকে সত্যজিৎ রায়ের সিনেমা তো মিউজিকের জন্য ভেরি ফেমাস। মিউজিকটা শুনেই একটা অন্য ফিল আসে। সো সেইভাবে আজকে গুপি গাইন বাঘাবাইন তো অফবিট সিনেমা, কিন্তু পুরো ছবিতেই তো গান। হীরক রাজার দেশে তো অফবিট সিনেমা, পুরো ছবিতেই তো গান। সো অফবিট সিনেমা মানেই গান হবে না তা নয়, গানের ব্যবহার
ভীষণ ইম্পর্টেন্ট জিনিস। তথাগতদা একজন দুর্দান্ত মানুষ, ওনার সঙ্গে আমি অনেক দিন আমার বন্ধুত্ব, ওনার সঙ্গে আমি অনেক ইন্টারাক্ট করেছি, কিন্তু আমরা কাজ করিনি আনফর্চুনেট।
হ্যাঁ, সেটা হয়ে যাবে কাজ, এটা একটাই। থ্যাংক ইউ অপূর্বদা, থ্যাংক ইউ। খুব ভালো কথা আপনি বললেন। ঠিক আছে, থ্যাংক ইউ সো মাচ। আচ্ছা, আমি কল্লোলদাকে একটু ডাকবো বিকজ হি ইজ আ প্রফেশনাল, হি ইজ আ কর্পোরেট কাইন্ড অফ আ পার্সন, ইন্টারন্যাশনাল। তো কিন্তু উনি খুব মানে বাংলা সিনেমা ইদানিং খুব দেখেন না হয়তো, কিন্তু খুব বেছে বেছে উনি দেখেন। লাকিলি উনি আকরিক দেখেছেন। তো আকরিক নিয়ে না বললেও হবে, কারণ আকরিক নিয়ে সবাই দেখেছে যারা বলছে। আমি আকরিক নিয়ে আর চাই না। আমি আপনাকে প্রশ্ন করতে চাই, I want to ask you this question that do you feel that Bengali cinema needs offbeat subjects, offbeat treatment? Does offbeat cinema, offbeat films has some scope in Bengali cinema, and it should be done? What as an audience you feel that?
Offbeat cinema is definitely essential for the growth of film. Bengali cinema at this point in time needs definitely major stress on that offbeat movies. I watch, so whenever I see any offbeat movies either in the OTT platform or in the theater, I really do watch them, because I like them, because they definitely essentially comes up with a message, and very much relatable to your day-to-day life, day-to-day challenges in everybody's in our day-to-day life, and that's how makes the movie very interesting. And yes, how you make the movie, the theme may be good, how you make the movie interesting also depends to a great extent how capable the director is in terms of portraying it, in terms of projecting it on the screen. So it is, I think it's very important, and there are a lot of topics are there, because the topics that we had, say, 30 years back is, and now whatever topics we have is much different, because our life has changed so much, because our life these days are very much influenced by technology. We have challenges at different age group because of the influence of technology. I, to some extent, will contradict Madam saying that the technology has badly influenced our life. It all depends upon how you use the technology. You can use the technology for have positive effect in your life, and we always tend to that's human nature, right? Anything new comes, we always try to misuse things. The nuclear bomb was invented. Engineers won't stop inventing things, but how you use it, that's what I feel.
I have got a tremendous plot coming now. Someone who believes technology has, spoiled our life, and someone who believes technology has, improved our lives. A very good topic for offbeat cinema and offbeat filmmakers.
Thank you, Kollol. That was a new opening to a different, brainwave, and this is what brainstorming can really make us get into new ideas. We have Shantanu Ghosh also here. No, why don't you come? Shantanu, actually, I just introduced to the audience at large. Shantanu has been a connoisseur of French and art and culture. In his house, a lot of big soirees, a lot of big cultural events take place, and he's seen everywhere in Kolkata. So Shantanu, just come here, 1 minute from you, telling us whether offbeat things really excite you or not. Shantanu Ghosh, he has been the director of Alliance Française also at one point of time. Shantanu da, ek minute. Na, dekhar dorkar nei.
That's I am very unfortunate because you are seen all over the Calcutta, but you have not been seen in Nandan.
No, you have to be seen in Nandan.
For the last
so
4 weeks.
Shantanu Ghosh, about offbeat experimentation, what do you think? And whether Bengali cinema is ready for offbeat topics or not?
Hello, good evening to everyone. Number one, I have not seen this film, but anyway, I was there right at the fag end. I was nearby. I talked to many people who had seen it, and many of my friends have walked in it also. And about offbeat cinema is a genre which is very much in vogue. You know, in the French film movement, it was Godard, Truffaut, Chabrol who had this cahier du cinema. It started from a film magazine. But it's good seeing the influence of Bollywood very much in our films. It's good that people are trying themselves without any producer. One of them told that she himself saved some money and started doing. So I very much appreciate and want that more of this kind of film is shown and tried. Thanks to the director for trying that.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Shantanu. We have just about 2-3 minutes left. Anupriya, can you just come? Anupriya has seen the film, but Anupriya has to talk about something different. Anupriya is a dancer. She's also an actress. And Anupriya Banerjee Mishra, বাংলা ছবি এই ধরনের একটু অফবিট সাবজেক্টের জন্য তৈরি কিনা, তো তুমি কি চিন্তা করো, তোমার কি মনে হয়? তুমি তো অডিয়েন্স হিসেবে গিয়েছিলে আকরিক দেখতে, আকরিক নিয়ে যে বলতে হবে তা নয়, কিন্তু বাংলা মানে অডিয়েন্সের মনস্কতা কি এই ধরনের অফবিট সাবজেক্টকে রিসিভ করার মতো এখন তৈরি হয়েছে, সেটা নিয়ে তোমার কি বক্তব্য?
প্রথম কথা বলি, আকরিক দেখেছি, ভীষণ ভালো লেগেছে। হ্যাঁ, অফবিট সিনেমা আমার মনে হয় মানে আরও বেশি আমাদের দেখার ইচ্ছেটা যেন আরও বেশি বেড়ে গেছে আগের থেকে। আগে আমাদের যে ধরনের মুভি হতো একদম সেটার থেকে অনেক বেটার আমার এখন মনে হয়, যে আমরা অনেক বেশি চাই এরকম ফিল্ম দেখতে, তো চাই যে আরও এরকম মুভি তৈরি হোক, আর কিছু বলার নেই।
থ্যাংক ইউ অনুপ্রিয়া। আমাদের মোটামুটি আমরা শেষের দিকে এসে গেছি। প্রীতিশ বাবুর কি হ্যামবার্গার শেষ হয়েছে? তো আসুন না, ছোট্ট করে একটু জাস্ট বলে দিন। প্রীতিশ বাবু আমাদের অনেক দিনের বন্ধু, অনেক ছবি,
প্রীতিশ বাবু নিজেও অনেক অফবিট শর্ট ফিল্মস বানিয়েছে, তো সেই জন্যই
আমার ছবিতে মেসেজ দিয়েছি, যেগুলো শর্ট ফিল্ম বা টেলিফিল্ম করেছি। তো তথাগত এই ছবিটা বানিয়েছে, দেখলাম এর মধ্যে খুব ভালো একটা মেসেজ রয়েছে, সম্পর্কের সূক্ষ্ম অনুভূতিগুলো যেন আবার মনে হলো জেগে উঠলো বইটা দেখতে দেখতে। তো আমার একটাই তথাগতর কাছে প্রশ্ন, যে মফস্বল বা গ্রামে তো অনেক বাঙালি আছে, তো তাদের জন্য তো এই ছবিটা খুব ভালোভাবে তারা নেবে, সে ব্যাপারে কিছু ভাবা হয়েছে কিনা?
মানে আকরিকের ব্যাপারে বলছেন না?
আকরিকের ব্যাপারেই বলছি
না, আকরিকের ব্যাপারে যদিও মফস্বলেও ছবিটা আমরা রিলিজ করেছি, কিন্তু মফস্বলে থেকে বেশি আমরা সাড়া আরবানেই পেয়েছি, মফস্বলে অত সাড়া পাইনি। তার কারণ হচ্ছে, আমিও সেটা মনে করেছিলাম যে দেখুন না, এই ছবি মানে আকরিকের যদি ব্যাপার বলি, আকরিকের যে মানে ক্রাইসিসটা দেখাচ্ছি বা যেটা রিয়েলি ক্রাইসিস, সেটা কিন্তু একটু আরবান ক্রাইসিস। ওকে, আজও কিন্তু মানে গ্রামে বা মফস্বলের দিকে ফ্যামিলি ইউনিটি মানে একসঙ্গে তারা ব্যাপার, এই যে ফ্যামিলির যে ব্রেকআপগুলো হয়েছে, ওটা বেশি আমাদের আরবান বেঙ্গলিজের মধ্যে হয়েছে, এনআরআইজ এনআরবি এদের মধ্যে বেশি। সো আকরিক অ্যাকচুয়ালি ইজ মোর অফ অ্যান আরবান ফিল্ম, একটু আরবান ক্রাইসিসকে নিয়েই। তার মানে এই না যে সেই ক্রাইসিসটা মফস্বলের নয়, গ্রামের নয়, কিন্তু আমার এফর্টটা একটু আর দেখুন, একটা ছবি তো মানে একটা পার্টিকুলার অডিয়েন্সের জন্য, যেমন আমার মিথ বললো যে একটা পার্টিকুলার অডিয়েন্সকে মাথায় রেখে করতে হয়। সার্বজনিক সব কিছু সবারই সব সাবজেক্ট ওগুলো খুব রেয়ার হয়। তো আকরিকের যে সাবজেক্টটা বা থিমটা যেটা, সেটা কিন্তু, এবং যে প্রবলেমটা, এই সিঙ্গেল মাদারের কনসেপ্ট বলুন, এগুলো কিন্তু একটু আরবান কনসেপ্ট, এগুলো একটু আরবান এবং আরও বেশি হচ্ছে প্রবাসী, যে আমরা আকরিককে এখন একটু ন্যাশনাল রিলিজও যাব, আমরা আকরিককে একটু ইন্টারন্যাশনাল রিলিজও করে দেবো, আমার পৃথিবীর জায়গা যেখানে যেখানে বাঙালিরা আছে আমি চাইবো কি আমি আকরিককে পৌঁছে দিই, বা আকরিকের মতন ছবি যেগুলো একটু আরবান বা এনআরআইসদের জন্য, গ্লোবাল অডিয়েন্সের জন্য, তো সেইগুলোর একটা পদ্ধতি আছে, তো সেইটাই তো সেই জন্য সব ছবি যে মানে সবার জন্যই হবে সেটা তো ডিপেন্ড করছে, কিন্তু আমি যদি আকরিক নিয়ে বলি আমি কিন্তু এটাকে একটু আরবান অডিয়েন্স এবং প্রবাসী বাঙালিদের কথা ভেবে ছবিটা বানিয়েছি।
আচ্ছা আচ্ছা, নিশ্চয়ই, ঠিক আছে,
অনেক অনেক ধন্যবাদ পৃথ্বীবাবু। সুদীপ কিছু বলতে চাও? সুদীপ সাংবাদিক এবং নিজে গ্রাফিক ডিজাইনার। সুদীপ খুব সুন্দর ফেসবুকে লিখেছিল আকরিক দেখার পর, এবং সেটা দেখে অনেকে দেখতে গেছে। সুদীপ একটা বাংলায় খুব সুন্দর লিখেছিল, সুদীপ চক্রবর্তী। সুদীপ, খুব ছোট্ট করে, তুমি নিজে একজন আর্টিস্ট, নিজে গ্রাফিক ডিজাইনার, তোমার কি মনে হয় যে বাংলার দর্শক কি এই ধরনের এক্সপেরিমেন্টেশনের জন্য তৈরি? মানে ও তো ফিল্মটা বানিয়েছে, কিন্তু বাংলার দর্শক কি গ্রহণ করার জন্য তৈরি কিনা? ছোট্ট করে
দেখুন, দর্শককে পরিচালকরাই তৈরি করবে। হ্যাঁ, দর্শক তো তারা দেখছে, একটা ট্রেন্ডের মধ্যে তারা থাকে। হ্যাঁ, তাদের বিভিন্ন ধরনের তারা বিভিন্ন ধরনের ফ্যামিলি একটা স্ট্যান্ডার্ড থাকে, এক একজনের এক এক রকমের পছন্দ থাকে। হ্যাঁ, তা এখন দর্শকরা কী দেখবে সেটা পরিচালকই তৈরি করবে। হ্যাঁ, পরিচালক যত বেশি এই ধরনের ছবি আসবে দেখা যাবে দর্শকরা নিচ্ছে, তাই না? আমার ওটাই ধারণা।
একদম একদম।
আর সুদীপকে একটা বড় ধন্যবাদ। সুদীপের লেখাটা দেখে প্রচুর লোক শেয়ার করেছে। ওটা বিরাট আকরিক নিয়ে বাংলায় খুব সুন্দর লিখেছিল। সোশ্যাল মিডিয়ার জার্নালিস্টও সোশ্যাল মিডিয়ার পাওয়ারটা কিন্তু ওখানেই বোঝা গেল যে আকরিকের ওই লেখাটা দেখে, এবং সেটা আমার মনে হয় ঋতুপর্ণাও খুব ওটা ইয়ে করেছে, ওর এতেও দেখলাম, এতেও ইয়ে করে দিয়েছিল।
এখানে একটা কথা বলি যে আপনারা এখানে যারা আছেন তাদের সঙ্গে আমার একটা ডিফারেন্স আছে, যে কি আপনারা সকলেই একটা পরিচিত একটা জায়গায় আছেন, আমাকে কেউই কিন্তু খুব একটা চেনেন না।
কিন্তু দর্শক তো এরকমই, তাই না? দর্শকের মুখ কি সবাই চেনে নাকি?
আমি যে কাজটা করি কি ক্রিয়েটিভ যে কাজ হয় বা ক্রিয়েটিভিটির মধ্যে যারা রয়েছেন, যেসব পার্সন, তাদেরকে আমি প্রমোট করার চেষ্টা করি, তাদের সম্বন্ধে লেখার চেষ্টা করি। আমার একটা ম্যাগাজিন আছে, সেখানে আমি তাদের সম্বন্ধে লিখি। আমি আর্ট কলেজ বা যেখানে এক্সিবিশন হয়, ফাইন আর্টসে চলে যাই, সেখানে গিয়ে আর্টিস্টদের সঙ্গে আলাপ করি, তাদের বলি যে আপনাদের সামনে লিখি। তারা খুশি হয়, কেউ আমাকে ইন্টারভিউ দেয়, আর যেসব যারা শর্ট ফিল্ম করে তাদের সম্বন্ধে লিখি। তা সেই জন্যই, আর এরকম একটা মানুষ, হ্যাঁ, যারা যে ক্রিয়েটিভিটির মধ্যে এরমভাবে রয়েছে, ইনভলভ রয়েছে, কলকাতা শহরে রয়েছে, বাঙালি, ওনার চোখে পড়েই যাবে। আমরা কানেক্টেড হয়ে গেছি।
না না, সুদীপ অনেক অনেক ধন্যবাদ।
এই জন্যই উনি আমায় ডেকেছিলেন, আকরিকের আমায় একটা ইনভিটেশন দিয়েছিলেন।
আর তুমি ঠিকই কাজ করছো। আকরিক দেখার পর যে মানে তার গন্ধটা সেই সৌরভ চারদিকে ছড়িয়ে দিয়েছো, সেটা খুব সুন্দর।
একটা রিভিউ লেখো, তা সেই রিভিউটা লিখেছে, খুব থ্রিল যে আপনি একটা তাতে কমেন্ট করেছেন। হ্যাঁ, যিনি রাইটার তিনিও কমেন্ট করেছেন,
সলিল দা, কারেক্ট।
খুবই এনকারেজড হয়েছি আর কি।
অ্যাবসলিউটলি, এরকম সুদীপকে আমাদের ভীষণ দরকার। শেষ যিনি আসছেন, অর্পিতাদি প্লিজ। ইউ হ্যাভ নট সিন আকরিক, দ্যাটস আ বিগ, why haven't you seen? I must tell you that. বুঝেছি, এনিওয়ে এখনো চলছে, so you must go and watch it. এসো লাস্ট, we would end with Orpita Chatterjee. Orpita Di is a very creative person. She's a singer, she's a trainer. Shongitika bole, she has her own brand, classically trained, and she's a Rotarian, so she's everywhere, very much like Mr. Ratan Jhawar. What do you think about experimentation? Do you think the audience is ready for, something which is beyond the beaten track?
I really believe that whoever is the creator is not creating for an audience. আপনি কি দর্শকের ওপরে কি প্রভাব পড়বে সেইটা ভেবে ফিল্মটা করেছিলেন, নাকি আপনার একটা আইডিয়া এসেছিল and you got spirited about it and you decided?
Of course, any filmmaker তো একটা আইডিয়া আসে যেটা আমি দর্শকের কাছে কমিউনিকেট করতে চাই, কিন্তু না জেনে যে দর্শক এটা নেবে কি নেবে না, কিন্তু there is an effort that my idea I would like to kind of communicate audio visually. ওটাই তো ফিল্ম মেকিং।
তাহলে আমি একটা প্রশ্ন করি, where do you get your ideas from?
না, এটা তো আমাদের প্রসেস, এটা তো আমরা অ্যাজ আ প্রফেশনাল
সিরিয়াসলি
না, আমিও সিরিয়াসলি বলছি যে এটা তো আমাদের প্রসেস, যে আমরা তো সবসময় ভাবতে থাকি যে আমি নেক্সট কী বলবো। আমি যখন 1994 থেকে কাজ শুরু করি তখন একরকম ভাবছি, আস্তে আস্তে এই দীর্ঘ 30 বছর হয়ে গেছে, বিভিন্ন রকম ছবি করেছি। সো কনস্ট্যান্টলি আমার মাথায় এই যে এখানেই অলকানন্দময় আমার কল্লোলদা একটা কন্ট্রাডিক্টরি কথা বললো, সঙ্গে সঙ্গে একটা আইডিয়া এলো যে কেউ প্রযুক্তিকে সাপোর্ট করছে, কেউ প্রযুক্তিকে বিরোধ করছে, তো এইটা নিয়ে কি ভাবছে। তো আইডিয়াস আমাদের মাথায় সবসময় তো চলে, কি এটা নিয়ে কি ছবি করা যায়, এটা নিয়ে কি ছবি করা যায়। সো এটা তো আমাদের সত্যি প্রসেস, এটা কিছু মানে এটা আমি জানি না, রঙ জানি না, এসে যায়।
তাহলে আমার নেক্সট প্রশ্ন, অন্যদের আইডিয়া নিয়ে আপনি কি মানে ছবি করেছেন?
হ্যাঁ, যেমন আকুরিকি তো মেন আইডিয়া আমার ছিল, কিন্তু এখানে আমি বেশিরভাগ ছবি আমার নিজেরই চিত্রনাট্য, নিজেরই গল্প থাকে, কিন্তু না কিন্তু আকুরিকে কিন্তু চিত্রনাট্য আমি আরেক ভদ্রলোককে দিয়েছিলাম যে আমার আইডিয়াটা নিয়ে আপনি এবার স্ক্রিপ্টটা করুন, কেন ওনার অভিজ্ঞতাটা জয়েন্ট ফ্যামিলি স্ট্রাকচারে আমার থেকে বেশি। উনি অনেক আরও সিনিয়র মানুষ, উনি রবীন্দ্রভারতী ইউনিভার্সিটির থিয়েটার স্টাডিজের প্রফেসর ছিলেন, আর উনিও একান্নবর্তী পরিবার থেকে উঠে আসা মানুষ। আমি নিউক্লিয়ার ফ্যামিলির প্রোডাক্ট, তো ওনাকে আমার দরকার ছিল এই সাবজেক্টের জন্য। হ্যাঁ, সেরকম আমি একটা টেলিভিশন সিরিজ করতাম বাস্তব বলে, ওটা হিউম্যান রাইট ভায়োলেশনের উপরে। তো ওখানে আলাদা আলাদা সব রাইটার্স ছিল, আমি ডিরেক্টর ছিলাম, রাইটার্স ছিল, তারা কেস লস নিয়ে কাজ করতো। সো এটা তো ডিপেন্ড করে যে আমি আমার গল্পে আমি নিজেও স্ক্রিপ্ট করতে পারি, বা আরেকজন যদি কোনো ভালো কেউ গল্প দেয় তার উপরেও কাজ করি, এটা তো ইফ ইট এক্সাইটস মি, তো সেটা তো অ্যাজ এ প্রফেশনাল। না সেরকম তো কিছু না, অনেক কিছুই ভাবছি না, এরকম অনেক কিছু আমাদের ভাবতে হয় না, আমি কী কাজ করবো কি, কেন আমি তো অনেক রকমের কাজের সঙ্গে যুক্ত আছি, তো সেই জন্য কোন কাজটা নেক্সট ফিচার হলে কোনটা হবে, এই হলো। আর তার একটা প্রসেসও আছে, আমি একটা ফিচার ফিল্ম হয়তো ভাবছি, প্রথম তো দরকার তো একজন প্রডিউসার পাওয়া, তো প্রডিউসার যদি পাই আমি ছবি করবো।
নেক্সট চিন্তা হচ্ছে প্রডিউসার পাওয়া।
না যদি ফিচার না, সেই জন্য আমরা খালি না, কিন্তু আবার যেটা ভেরোনিকা বললো, আমি অনেক আমার হয়তো একটা খুব ভালো আইডিয়া আসছে, এবার সেটা করতে যে টাকাটা লাগবে, মানে ফিচার করতে যে টাকা লাগবে, সেটার জন্য আমি হয়তো প্রডিউসার পাচ্ছি না, কিন্তু আমার ওটা আইডিয়াটা করতেই হবে, তখন আমি হয়তো ওটাকে একটা শর্ট ফিল্মে কনভার্ট করে আমি যেটুকু পুঁজি আছে আমি সেই দিয়ে একটা কিছু, জাস্ট টু কাইন্ড অফ কোয়েঞ্চ দ্যাট থার্স্ট, ইউ নো, দ্যাট কোয়েঞ্চিং দ্যাট থার্স্ট ইজ ভেরি নেসেসারি, ঠিক আছে। তো সেরকম হলো ব্যাপার, সেই জন্য মাঝে মাঝে দুধের স্বাদ ঘোলেও মিটাতে হয়।
Thank you, Orpita, for those wonderful questions. Anyone else would like to ask, because we have to now wind up. We had a fantastic interactive session beyond the beaten track, and Tathagata was very magnanimous in his answers, and I'm sure that he's thinking, যেটা অর্পিতা জিজ্ঞেস করলো, একজন ডিরেক্টরের মাথায় সবসময় কিলবিল করে বিভিন্ন আইডিয়াস, সেই কিলবিল থেকে ছাঁকনি দিয়ে ছেঁকে প্রডিউসারের সঙ্গে ইন সিঙ্ক হয়ে কিছু হয়। So obviously big projects need a good producer. Small projects can happen like Veronica's formula also. Thank you once again. Please be with good cinema. Please be with things which are a bit hatke. Always think, you know, like something which is beyond the beaten track. Thank you so much. Good night. Be with us.
And thank you, Shonali, and thank you, Wisdom Tree Cafe, for organizing this. Good night.